Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am here to give you my Breaking Bad review for the day. This was actually season 3, episode 1. This is the first episode of this season, and I'm really looking forward to watching this season just by this episode alone. I was looking forward to it anyways, but this episode just really makes this season look like that it's going to be good, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So, um, let's get to what all this stuff about what's going on with the episodes. Um, this episode is season 3, episode 1. It's called No Mas. I know I've heard this term before, and I don't remember what it means. So, yeah, I know what no means, but I forget. I think Mas means surrender or something. I forget. And it came out on March 21st, 2010. And the episode starts out in like this weird place that doesn't look like it's in the U.S. because Breaking Bad technically takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico, um, and we just see these like home. It's in this like village, we see like these people crawling somewhere, like they're hungry or starving. Like at first, that's what I was thinking that they were. And then these two people that look like that they're like twins or something, I'm not really sure, but they look like exactly alike. This come in and they do the same thing, and they're like they're like dressed up all nice, and they look like they're just badasses, that they're villains, and they go into this place, and we see like a, I guess shrine, and it's just like the skeleton, and they pull a picture that they drew of Walter White, but they think his name is Eisenberg because for obvious reasons, and I think they know that means that they're going to be looking for Walter. And then it cut to the theme song. I know I didn't describe it too well, but I don't really know anything about these guys, and it was all kind of weird. And we see these guys again throughout the episode. So then back we see Walter, and he's just obviously pissed because he has to leave the house. He's actually in the pool, and he's about to light all his money on fire, but then he saved it by putting it in the water, and then his robe catches on fire, so he jumps in the water himself. I thought that was a pretty good scene. And Skyler's filling out divorce papers. She's gonna get a divorce with Walter, and she's just asking all these questions. How long they've been married? We find out they've been married for like 16 years. She talks about all their kids, and this is the first episode that I've noticed that we found out that Walter and Skyler's babies are named Harley. I think I might have mentioned it before, but I just didn't remember. That's kind of about it. What happens next? Jesse is in rehab. That's where he's been, and they can get in a group meeting, and the speaker of the meeting. I don't think we ever found out this guy's name. I'm gonna look it up real quick though. Yeah, we never found out his name, and he says that this isn't help to make yourself a better person. This is help to become self-control in the world. And I forgot to mention that crisis, the airline crisis that's happened, is all over the news. I forgot to mention that. It's all over the news. They talk about how Jane's father was part of it. Um, you know, just everything, I guess, to remind people what happened, since they probably haven't seen this in about a year. So then Hank helps Walter move out. He grabs the eye of the teddy bear that fell in the pool when they came in, I guess, as memories. And he helps him move in. And he has a bag. And Hank's like, no, I can help you take this bag. And he's like, what are you holding, cinder blocks in here? Because he can't do any heavy lifting because of his surgery. And Walter tells him that there's $1 million in here. And Hank thinks he's joking, so he just packs it in. And Walter, Hank was talking stuff like, maybe this separation will make your marriage better. You can get back up on your feet. Because they were kind of, Hank was just kind of talking. It was kind of an awkward moment for them because, for obvious reasons. So then, what happens next? Walter, so now I'm going to get, because I kind of jumped around. Now, Skyler, Holly, and Walter Jr., but they're calling him Flynn now. Like, Skyler's just fully calling him Flynn. And Walter calls, leaves a voicemail, gives all his contact information. And Walter Jr. is just pissed, so he answers the phone. And he wants to know what's going on. He asks Walter to give him a ride to school. And Skyler's like, I can give you a ride to school. But Walter Jr.'s just not having it because he's pissed that no one's telling him jack shit, pretty much. Because he doesn't know, like, that they're fighting. I think he knows they're fighting, but he doesn't know why they're fighting. So I thought that was a nice scene. So then, what happens next? I think it's the school scene next. They have a big assembly talking about the airline crisis, how it all went down. All the students are talking about how they can't sleep, they can't focus on school because of this. And they talk about how this is like the next 9/11 kind of thing. And then eventually Walter's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Because he's just, I guess, sick of hearing about this. But really, he makes some BS excuse that somebody is that it moved him. And Walter has to say something, and then Walter says like stuff like that people are gonna move past this. He pretty much makes it worse, actually. It's like talks about how we should look on the positive side, that no one on the ground died, that the aircraft wasn't full, was only 2/3 full, and he talks about how back in 1916, the same situation happened and it was bigger aircrafts. He pretty much thinks the whole thing was at the point where the teacher forces him to stop talking. I thought it was pretty funny. So then Walter brings Walter Jr. home. And Walter Jr. Marie's there, and Walter's like, "Hey, how's your Aunt Marie doing?" And she's like, "She's fine." And he's like, "Why don't you say hi to her for me?" And Walter Jr. says, "Why don't you come in and say hi yourself? It's your house," because he doesn't know that Skyler kicked him out. And Walter's like, no thanks. So then he leaves, and then Walter Jr. comes in pissed, saying, why are you treating him like this? Why are you kicking him out? You just completely left him, and you're not telling me why. So then he leaves. I really like this because they actually gave Walter Jr. a purpose, some sort of story in this episode, which they really haven't done before. So then Maurice wants to know what's going on as well, and said you can't really blame him because you haven't told him what's going on. But Skyler pretty much tells her to shut up. So then what happens? This gang comes back up, the two guys, and they come up to this family. And they like take their clothes, and they see him right there, and their daughter's like next to a goat. They look at the daughter, and they put their keys on the goat's ear, and I guess the family's too afraid to do anything because these guys obviously are feared. They must be very well known there because they would have done something. And then they just walk off. Like I said, this was actually a good scene, but I'm still not sure what's going on yet. And then Jesse, the guy's telling him again, like, you guys need to get yourself in life because you guys could be anything, not president of the United States, but anything that you want to be. And then he makes Jesse finally say something. He said he can tell him anything. And Jesse says, how are you the expert in all this? And he's like, I never said I was an expert. And he's like, well, have you ever harmed someone or murdered someone? And then the guy says that we find out that this guy's murdered his daughter because he was high off cocaine and drunk, but he didn't have enough cocaine. He was mainly drunk, and he had an argument with his wife that he wouldn't, because he ran out of vodka. She wouldn't give him any, and he got pissed about it. And it was on his birthday too. So then he backed out of the driveway and killed his 6-year-old daughter. That was actually a pretty sad scene. And he said that he felt guilty about it, and it made him drink and do drugs more and more. But he says that you shouldn't do this stuff because guilt will hold you back from being who you want to be. I thought it was a nice scene. And then, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. This didn't happen next. But Walter picks... Actually, I guess I can go. Then Walter's at his apartment. His, I guess, temporary house. And then Skyler knocks on the door. And he answers it. And earlier, too, Walter got a text to go to Polo's, but he didn't go. And Skyler wants to talk. And she hands him divorce papers. And wants him to sign them. And Walter's pissed. He's like, why are you throwing these in my face? We're both happily married. We just need to talk this through and everything will be okay because there's different sides of the story. And then Skyler says, what, that you're a drug dealer? And then Walter's like, no, how did you... And Skyler thinks so because of all this money that he has. She's wondering how he has all this money. And then he says... and then he tells her about it. He creates meth. He's not actually the dealer. He just creates it. But then she gets disgusted by this and goes to leave. But Walter's like, let's just talk this through. There's reasons why that I'm doing this. But Skyler says that she doesn't care pretty much. And she says that she's not going to tell Hank or anybody else, his children, if he signs these papers and gets out of their lives. And then she leaves. So Walter has a big decision to make here. And later on in the episode, well, actually, then Walter picks up Jesse from the rehab, and his windshield's actually all cracked because of the missile accident. Well, the aircraft accident. I botched that. And Walter tells him that Saul has his money from when he gets himself back together, when he's fully healed. And Jesse says that he's healed, and he says that the reason why, and he pretty much says the reason why the aircraft incident happened was because Jane's father went crazy, was upset about the loss of his daughter, and that caused it, which is absolutely true. But Walter says no, it could have been because of the technology. He thinks it's the government. Makes up a bunch of reasons why it's not, but it's not true. And Jesse says that being in rehab, he made him look at himself as what he is as a person. And he says that he's the bad guy. So then the next day, Walter's at Polo's, and he sees Gustavo or Gus, and he tells him he has a great deal for him, but Walter says, that's not what I'm here for. You deserve to hear this in person. He says he wants out of this. He says he's done with making meth and wants to start over. He says he's not a criminal, and he says that he has a family. He lost his family, and he wants to make things right. But and he says that no matter what you offer me, it might change it's not going to change my mind. And Gustavo says, well, what about $3 million for 3 months of work? And Walter thinks about it, but he refuses. So then they shake hands. I actually enjoyed this scene. It was an awesome scene. And then the next scene's even better. So we see these two guys, and they're in the back of the truck. One of them's talking to them about what he does and all of that. And then they kill him. We don't actually see it. From the back of the truck, you can hear, like, gunshots. And one of them's like, what's going on? And then they see these guys, and he tries to run away, but they shoot them. And then one of them shoots the gasoline out of the truck, and he was smoking a cigarette, and puts the cigarette where the gasoline is, and the truck catches on fire, and then they leave like badasses. And that was it. That was the end of the episode. And to be honest with you, this was a great episode from start all the way to the end. I really enjoyed this episode. It's going to set up probably some major stuff this season. And I don't think Walter's going to be done. I definitely think he's going to continue. He'll probably stop for a little while and then come back. And I definitely think that's going to happen. And I thought this was great stuff, though. Great episode this week. But that's pretty much it, guys. This episode was just great. If you want to see more Breaking Bad reviews, you can click the subscribe button right here, and you can also go on the playlist. I have the episodes all the way from the first season all the way to now, and I definitely am going to be giving you more this week and in the future, and until pretty much I have nothing left to talk about this series, because it's going to be over eventually. So then, yeah, that's about it. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you later.